everyone. Welcome back to the other side of music. Today we are here with Ariana. Please say your last name.
I know, Arciniega.
uh, well, I wouldn't have gotten that. um, you are here with Intercept, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
hmm
So tell us what you do there.
Okay, well, I have a really long title. So I am EVP of Global Operations and Business Development Strategy. So look, actually, it's not that long now that I said it, but yeah, that's what I do. And yeah, I'm very, into the business development side of things.
Mhm.
So I have my team, we have our goals, we have, our strategy, of course, and, we need to check we need to keep like updating the type of deals that we want to offer, because right now you see how the music is, it's massive evolution, like the whole time everything's changing, right? Like constant change. So that's what we're working on. And the part of operations, I really like that. I guess because when I started my career I was also like a label manager, so
Mhm.
that's a part that I just like, I can't stop looking into that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Sometimes you go meetings with the DSPs and they tell you, "Why don't we do this?" And then the artist, "Yes, let's do that." And then the label, "But why don't we just do that as well?" And I'm just thinking that's not gonna happen. It doesn't even work like that. It's not even on the DSP side that it works like that. So I like to have that operational side. That's my point. And yeah,
Okay.
that's what I do.
All right. Now, how do you feel the indie the indie market is in like like Mexico, Latin America area as compared to the U.S. indie market?
Yeah, well, the thing is, our indie market has grown exponentially, and the whole Latin America, right? As we saw with
Yeah,
Bad Bunny winning the best
I know, I
album of the
know,
year. Exactly. That's, like the tip of the iceberg, actually.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things going on. And what happened is that, so before streaming, what is that? Wait. People, I mean, we just didn't have the money, right? It was just the labels, the major labels that had the money. So let's say, for like the biggest major, Universal had Fonovisa, who is the one that is focused in regional Mexican. Well, if you wanted to get your music out, like more like worldwide, or like at least other places, like the whole distribution package and everything, but you had to be there, right? So I think now that has changed because of streaming, and now you have independent labels that they make a lot of money, Robin. They
Okay.
do make a lot of money. So now they can, produce music at a really, like a super fast pace.
Mhm.
They don't wait for anyone. And even when we talk about, you want to have like the whole intentional way of releasing music,
Mhm.
sometimes these labels, and I'm talking the Mexican ones, they have so much music, so many artists, young artists, that they know like they might release fighting songs, whatever. It doesn't matter because they also have the album. Like they're mass producing things, that's what I'm saying. So they have the money to do it, they have the means to do it. They have actually really professional teams that has actually changed. That's something that I've seen changing from the pandemic to
Mhm.
now. And everything has, professionalized a lot. Obviously it depends of the music genre. It's important
Okay.
to mention that. But yeah, the growth that I see is exponential. That being said, we're still not quite there yet. Like I told you, we have professionalized a lot, yeah, definitely. But still, I think like in the US, what I remember is like the roles of every person that works on a label, or like the promoter, or like a manager, or a lawyer, like super well defined. And here in Mexico and other places in Latin America, for sure, we use several hats. I think
Okay.
even in the US, it's like you cannot even do it. Like it's kind of like illegal in some ways, right? But here's like everyone does everything, right? I
Yeah.
don't love that, but that's my point. Like we're not quite there yet. I mean, there's a lot of the indie industry is still very different, from the indie industry in the US in terms
Okay.
of the roles that people play, or the key players here. I guess where we're getting there is because it is more professionalized now. We are learning more from like the process that the US has established for years now, but
Mhm.
we're definitely not a mature market now. Not yet, sorry. We are growing, but we're not a mature market. So
Okay.
that's like the main difference for sure.
Now, I imagine with just, Bad Bunny doing his thing. That is going to help grow the market a lot and pretty fast, I imagine, right?
Yeah, you know what the thing is? It's very interesting. Back in 2019, for example, and even 2020, okay, so the whole thing with Latin America is like we need to see what like the role that Mexico plays for Latin America. We
Mm-hmm.
always been the stepping stone, and not just for Latin America, for also for Spain. So if you
Okay.
want to make it in the whole region, you usually need to go to Mexico, and then like the success you had there will permeate in other parts of the whole region, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just because we're the way that we our location, the massive population of Mexico City, like those things were, and the way we consume music, although everyone in Latin America, we consume music like crazy. We have an issue maybe, like we need music all the time. But anyway, that's just something that, the way people are. But anyway, it's a cultural thing, let's say. But anyway, because of all that, Mexico was always open to listen to music from everywhere, right? So back in 2019, 2020, I remember that around 80% of the music we listened, yes, it was in Spanish, but then more than 80% of this music was in Mexican.
Oh,
Okay?
okay.
So, but that changed now. Now we're almost like in the other spectrum, right? We're actually auto consuming our own music.
Oh,
Okay?
nice.
But we're still, but that's, so I guess what I'm trying to say here is like it had to happen, like this shift in our culture to start like listening to ourselves like the word Brazilians do, to
Mm-hmm.
actually make that genre, the regional Mexican, grow in exponential way. And now obviously with the diaspora in the US, that gave the localization situation, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it gives like the stamp of approval, and from there, from the US, it goes to other places. So
Okay.
what I'm explaining right now is what happened with this particular music genre.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, it's a Latin music genre. You can hear it in Colombia, you can hear it in Spain. The other day, Paris Jackson was listening to Christian Nodal. I'm not
Okay.
joking. That was trending, I think, Monday or something, right? And it's Paris Jackson, okay? So my point with all this is that music genre is growing that way, but it's not just the other part that you see in Latin America that you don't really see that much in other territories. It's the fact that we're always collaborating. It's like if you do corridos, that doesn't mean you're gonna stay doing corridos your whole time
Mm-hmm.
at all. For example, Natanael Cano, who is the king, like he's the one that made the corridos tumbados. He's also doing a little bit of urban music with Anuel. So
Okay.
that's what I'm trying to say. Like we never been like the culture that limits themselves in terms of music genre, and that I'm talking from the whole Latin America, obviously. And then
Mm-hmm.
we do collaborate amongst different music genres and amongst different countries. And again, that's something that you don't see that much, and for us, that's like normal. For
Yeah.
example, there's another genre. You have reggaeton, obviously, and then Mexico made their own reggaeton mexicano,
Mm-hmm.
because when we were trying to copy the other reggaeton, that didn't work, so we made our own.
Okay.
So then, but then reggaeton mexicano and reggaeton chileno are quite similar. Like let's say there's some points that are like similar. So it's not unusual to have those types of collaborations. So I don't know if this really answered your question, but the point is, because of the means that I told you that now the companies have, and it's more professionalized, and we're start to actually listen to ourselves, and then these music genres, we're able to find an audience with the diaspora in the US, and then the collaborations amongst the different countries and different genres. And then you have the Bad Bunny situation. So it's like people are open to
Everywhere.
listen to music in Spanish, not just us, but everyone, right? So
Right.
I don't think this is gonna stop.
No, I don't think so. I think music it's kind of always been universal, but I think it's just going to become that way. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
the nature of it with being able to pull up anything on Spotify, indie radio stations, all kinds of stuff. So, yeah. Um,
Oh yeah.
what was I just? Okay, so I saw in your background info that your company sent that you guys use AI and like superfan data. So, since AI is such a controversy right now, people I feel like AI is kind of like blueberries. People either love blueberries or they don't. So
Okay, I like them.
the same with AI. They love
Okay.
it or they don't. So, I know there are responsible ways to use AI and stuff like that. So how do you guys use that as a tool
Well, I guess,
without
you know,
hurting,
as
like, you know?
yeah, yeah, no, but as you mentioned, it depends, no, the ways that you're using it. I mean, in terms of like music per se, and I don't know, maybe that's also something that you saw on the, you know, what we sent you is that I gave this conference about AI and music, and I am a lawyer, so you know what's like the regulation for Latin America, except Brazil because they're way more ahead. Everything that you know that has to do with how you, I mean, the creative process of making music, that's the part where AI is definitely something that needs to be taken like it's pretty delicate right now, and the way that we're seeing it. So I'm starting with that just to you know to separate things, right? And the way that we're seeing it right now, and you know, it's like you have all these companies that are for AI, let's say like Suno, for example, and they get into a battles with the majors, and then the majors win, and then they have to settle, and now they work together, right?
Hmm.
So that's kind of like the I believe like the blueprint that we're seeing right now with the majors, because obviously they have the leverage, the money, and they have, well, I believe, and this is something that I was talking with my, you know, I was talking with a company, like they learned from what happened before, right? What happened, the Napster situation, and then
Yes.
streaming came. Now they know how to do that, but that's more like, yeah, again, I'm talking about the catalog and the creative part and those type of alliances that they're doing right now. The work that we're doing right now is okay. We utilize it in terms to make things easier in the way that we work and what services can we offer to them.
Okay.
We do not utilize it in everything that has to do with the creation of the music creation or anything like that. Or like we are not, you know, uploading our catalog so it's available with those tools because we have, you know, like a agreement or anything. No, we are not there. Again, that's the blueprint. That's what we see. We have seen the majors do. We just see like the Warner Suno deal, just to give you an example. We are not there. It's more like on the marketing basis, right? Like we can help you with our AI to have like a stronger let's say pitch for the DSPs. Like if you have any doubts, we can work with those tools, and you always have the human aspect, which is like our team, to help you navigate those tools. But it's more into that, more like into marketing, you know, like understanding your data and making your data easier for you to understand. We
Okay.
are in that part of the AI utilization.
Okay. Nice. Very nice. Now, if someone composes music using AI, then that's not able to be copyrighted, right? Like, is it?
Exactly.
Okay.
No, it
So,
can because it needs to be a human creation.
right.
So it's not a human
Okay.
creation, you cannot copyright it.
Okay. All right. Um, and so, do you feel that the industry is starting to pick up on AI and use it more responsibly, or is it still kind of everywhere?
Look, I think it's always about, it's not everywhere because, like we mentioned before, I mean, majors are doing that work and they
Right.
represent so many catalogs, right?
Hmm.
But then who is gonna be at the end? You know who's really gonna get the revenue? Like who's gonna be the last one to get the revenue? Perhaps it's still a difficult field. You know, like they're still afraid if you're like a composer, for example,
Hmm.
because even now with the terms of streaming, they actually, you know, they didn't get the best deals, and I believe those deals got better,
Hmm.
but not at the beginning. So I think it depends of like where in the industry, I mean, which part of the music creation are you in,
Okay.
right? Yeah,
No,
that's
that's
what I will say.
yeah. Um, so, on a different note, what is your? I'm assuming you've traveled a lot. So, what is your favorite food that you have ever come across?
Oh, I love that question. Look, Robin, I always say to people that my favorite food is pan, meaning bread. I
Okay.
like bread. I just love bread. Any type of bread, meaning carbohidratos. Okay? It can be pasta, it can be plain bread, it can be sweet bread, it can be scones. You know, Mexican pan dulce is amazing. I love, obviously, boulangerie and everything that France can give me. I love it. So for me, it's just eating bread with everything that I eat.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty simple with that.
um, have you ever seen the TV show Friends?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
I learned
So,
English from Friends, I will
oh,
say.
okay.
Friends and Smashing Pumpkins. Those were my
Oh,
teachers. Yeah.
oh, my best friend, I asked her one time what her favorite food was, and she goes, sandwiches. And I'm like,
Yeah.
really, Joey from Friends? I'm like, what
Sí,
is
claro.
that?
You know what, Robin? That's my mom's favorite food.
Sandwiches?
Yeah, she always said that. And it's like, she never learned how to cook. I'm sorry, she's not going to listen to this, so it's fine. She never learned how to cook, so for her, it's like sandwiches. I don't care. Not
Okay.
even tacos. Okay.
Um, and what is now? I know there are all kinds of fun, like non-alcoholic drinks out there and everything. So, what is your like go-to?
No, Robin, I'm a geriatric millennial. So that means that, no. Wine. Obviously, it's like this. It's like coffee,
Mhm.
wine,
Okay.
tequila.
Oh, oof, tequila.
Yeah, that's how it is. I am now, if I'm gonna drink, it will be wine or like tequila.
Okay.
That's it. If not, coffee, we're fine.
Tequila, like I like tequila and like margaritas, frozen margaritas, or
No, I like
usually.
it. And I'm sorry, continue.
Oh no, 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 go ahead. So, how do you drink it?
I like frozen margaritas, they're fine. But I like it just with soda, just like mineral water soda, that's
Oh,
it, and ice. So I mean it's not just tequila, it's like mix, but only with soda. Yeah, and not lemon, otherwise I get gastritis. But that's it. That's how I like it.
um, so how do you? What did you think of the Grammys? Did
What?
you go ahead?
No, no, no. Tell me.
Oh,
I
so
will
did
see.
you feel like the Grammys could have been better? They were okay. Did you feel it was like what was your take on it?
Okay, so I guess my situation first is like I cannot even say Grammys without saying Latin Grammys.
Okay.
Like those are the ones that I'm really, really used to. So it's like I always say like, oh, do you see the Latin Grammys? Okay, I'm sorry, you watch the Grammys. So that's the part that I'm like, okay, so yeah, that's the first thing that I think about. Um, I think I did like them. Yes, because of the Latin representation.
Mhm.
I did enjoy, like the speeches and what the political side of it. I do like it. I think it's great. I mean, I think you have to use your platform for something. Otherwise, it's a little bit. You have to address situations. I think when I was younger, I'm talking 12, 13 years ago. I remember like I was running this project called Software Sounds, and I didn't want it to be political at all. And now that I'm older, I just don't understand why you wouldn't be political if you want to say something. Like, why wouldn't you use your platform? So I did like that part.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's like you go and judge certain people because you're like, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. You with your little pin. I don't buy it. But at the end, you know what, Robbie? At the end, it doesn't matter because you are trying to get attention into an important topic. You are trying to do that. So the more people are doing that, well, the louder it becomes.
Right.
So if I say that part, I think I was pleased with that because of the current situation. So I did like seeing that,
Okay.
and I do like the host. I think it's a good
Yeah,
one.
yeah, he's good.
He's actually good.
Yeah.
I think he never really gets into trouble, but he's also funny. I think he's elegant. That's the way that I'm trying to say. Like the way his jokes, I find them actually classy. That's what I'm saying. And in terms of the people winning and everything, I was very pleased. So in general, I did like it.
Okay. How'd you feel about Justin Bieber?
How do I feel about Justin Bieber? I think that's a good question because it's undeniable how talented he is,
Mhm.
right? And sometimes it's like, sometimes you feel like, I don't know, maybe this guy is what's happening with him. But then when he delivers, when he performs, he delivers, right? And you're like, I don't know. Sometimes there are people that are so talented that I don't know, maybe too much. That's the way that I see it. But he's definitely talented, and
Yeah.
I do admire that. And he does seem like he has some situations going on most of the time. But again, I mean, such a talented person.
Yeah. when he came on, and I'm like, oh, what's happening here?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
Exacto. But
okay,
then,
being a socks and boxers, I can get hit the socks because of
it's
the
cold.
equipment. Yeah, it's cold. The equipment they had, he was using and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I could get that, and I'm like, wow, that's interesting. So, but I did pay attention, and I did listen to the song. I mean, I liked it, but yeah, I'm like, well, this is a good start. So, yeah, it was interesting, but
Yeah.
if you're not interesting, you're not up there, right?
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
exactly.
So, how did you end up getting into music?
Okay, so I love this question, by the way. Okay, so like I mentioned, I'm a lawyer. And when I mean, I did like, I mean, I always loved music. I play piano, but like, I never had talent enough to actually make music. And I did know that. I did notice that. I'm like, so then, yeah, when I was in law school, I asked one of the professors in copyright law, right? I was just like, hey, maybe I could be a manager. And I remember the professor saying that doesn't exist. There are no lawyers that are managers. That's what happens when you study in a city like Guadalajara, Jalisco, in la Universidad Panamericana. People tend to be a little bit narrow-minded. Anyway, so I was like, okay. So then I was like, what if I become a DJ? Like, my
Okay.
point is, I wanted to be in the music, but I didn't know exactly how.
Mhm.
So one thing led to another, and they invited me to DJ at this place. My point is, I didn't know how to DJ, Robin. I didn't
Okay.
even know how to turn, the decks on. I didn't even know that part. We call it muerto here. I didn't know how to turn on the muerto. So I fake it. I pretended to know. And I got there, the place where they asked me to DJ, and I brought all my friends, and everyone was having the best time. So they were like, "Why don't you come again?" I'm like, "What? I don't even know how to do anything." But anyway, then I like 2 or 3 months, no, like yeah, like less than 2 months later, I moved to Mexico City for an internship because this internship was like 2 months in Mexico City and 2 months in New York. And then when I was here, some people that saw me at out of the bar, like the DJ bar scene, they asked me to go to an interview because they were gonna open a new bar here in Mexico City, and it was just about the music. It was honest. It was all about the music. Well, that bar opened in July 2008, sorry, and just closed in November. So it was open for
Okay.
17 years. And I was the
Wow.
reason the DJ for like 3 or 4 years. And everyone was there from the music scene. That's the point. Like, I met a lot of people there, and people that had their own studios or like their indie label. And because I was a lawyer, I was like, hey, well, I can help you with this or with that. So I even sold some music, some licensings for
Okay.
commercials, because that's the point. Everyone was there. People that were producing commercials, or like filmmakers, or like, that was the type of situation. I mean, the name was Leonor, and it was amazing at that time. It was really, really cool. So because of that, those doors open. But then there was a moment that I was like, what is going to happen here? Because I was working with a lot of brands, but I didn't understand, like, being the DJ side of things and the brands side of things is not exactly the music per se. Like, it's not what, like, the
Right.
music, like, it's like a little bit different. It's not exactly the same. So I told you I brought this project from the UK called Software Sounds, which is still around, secret concerts around the world. So I became the leader in Mexico, and I started doing that in order to get in touch with that part of the music scene, not just the flashy brands one. And I got in touch with them, and because of that, I started working at 1RPM, the digital music distributor.
Oh.
And then from 1RPM, I mean, we opened the offices. I mean, they didn't exist here before. And then I went to Believe as country manager.
Mhm.
And then during the pandemic, we opened another branch at Believe, which was artist services, so not just distribution. And that was for the whole Latin America.
Okay.
And then I moved to In Groups, which is an American company, as country manager again. I had the best team ever. And then it merged with Virgin and became Virgin Music Group,
Mhm.
where I stay as head of, I totally forgot, well, business and label, how it is, again, Latam. And now I've moved to Intercept. So as you see, I started like a lawyer DJ, because it did, the fact that I was a lawyer helped me get into music, not just as a DJ. And then bringing this project that got me to be in touch with the actual indie music scene. And then from there, I started working in distribution, which that's the summary of my really long answer.
Wow. I love that you just DJ'd and you didn't even know what you were doing.
Nothing. No. But I mean,
And that everybody
I
had fun.
was, yeah, no, no, and this I think it's very common. Eh? The other day, last year, when I was still virgin, we had like during the Women's International Month, we had this conference amongst different women for virgin. I from six, five were DJ before, and we didn't know what we were doing. And it's like, look, how fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you have quite a career going.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Now,
I had fun.
good. Now, if you were not a lawyer in the music industry, what do you think you would be doing?
I like that. You know what? I wish I had known, but I mean, it was the 80s, 90s, and I'm from a small town in Mexico called Tepic. And I wish I had been able to be a composer, like lyrics. I really like them. I mean, I might not be good for like making music, but I think the lyric side of things, I'm not bad.
Okay.
I remember once a friend of us when we were in Guadalajara, which is where I went to school. He was I don't know, he was like submitting a song from a contest, and we were just there, like on a Monday doing whatever. And I remember I started writing with him, and it was actually good. And then he actually became famous for a while. But my point is, I feel like, yeah, I love writing, and it will have, I don't know, it will have been something nice to have done.
Okay. All right. Now, give me your guesstimate or kind of future prediction on, let's see, like maybe 3 years from now. Where do you see the music? Okay, there's a two-parter. Where do you see the Latin music industry, and where do you see the music industry as a whole, with all the
Wow.
changes and things that you know and just what you see out there?
Okay, I was wanted to write something so I don't forget. Oh, look, I don't want to be this person, but I think that question is a little bit like how I see myself in 5 years,
Yeah.
because honestly, since the pandemic, music has been like just making it's just. I think it has become really unpredictable, right? Like I remember with regional Mexican, I was checking the data and everything, and I was like telling my bosses, this is gonna happen. And I wanted to hire people in situ, no, like in places where regional Mexican is, where they produce the music. I was able to see that. And then, with everything happened with the visa situation, for Mexicans, I think it was only natural that they decided to dabble into different music genres. Like they don't hold back.
Mhm.
Um, and now, for example, if you go back to AI,
Mhm.
the part that I'm not very, that I don't love about the Latin music is the fact that, they're using it a lot, like in terms of like, for example, using the sound alike voices of other artists. Like even Bad Bunny, he was upset about that, like in 2023. But right now we have a lot of music from, again, like Nathaniel Cano is a good example, the one that I already mentioned. He has like there are like 2 or 3 songs that are viral. I mean, in the last 6 months or something, that they're imitating his voice, and
Ah.
he's not even saying anything. I mean,
Ah.
I think the issue that I see right now is like certain labels or certain artists, they think that they can't do anything because they're not with a major,
Mhm.
and they don't even have the time. Remember I told you, like, you go to these places and they have to wear different hats. Like, people have so much work, Robin, that it's like
Right.
they cannot be just like taking out the music or like sending all this. You have to fill out forms. I mean, it's a lot of bureaucracy. That's what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
So that has to change for sure. My point here is, I don't know if people are going to completely embrace it. Like, if other majors are going to start signing producers that utilize fake or like, sound alike voices. You know what I'm saying? Like, the
Yeah.
moment there's something that at the end of the day is fraudulent, because it is, it's
Right.
going to become 100% acceptable, just because they don't have time to, the right owners don't have time, or like, not even the DSPs have the tech part, to actually take down all these fakes. I mean, it's so much
Ah.
that how are you gonna battle that, right? So for me, it's like, or people. accept that, which I really hope they don't, because we talk about the other blueprint, but this is another thing. I'm talking about like fraudulent type of situations. So, or things evolve in a way that we're able to detect these things and to be able to take down things that are not supposed to be there, or like I don't know. Again, it's two different. It's kind of like two different branches, right? The part that I mentioned about the blueprint and this, there is more like a fraudulent type of situation. Actually, not just exactly that you're using AI tools, but you're faking. You're pretending to be someone else. So that part, I'm a little bit. That's a part that I'm a little bit overwhelmed. That how are you going to tackle this, and how is this going to evolve? Are people going to accept it, or they're going to really tackle it, or they're just going to, for example, with the Nathaniel, he has a video on TikTok where he's actually dancing to this music that is utilizing his voice.
Wow.
So are some people accepting it? I know that, for example, in the Nordic countries, the top 3 or something, there's also a song that is generated that way. So I know everything is about AI, but my point is, are we gonna tackle? Are we gonna accept? Are we gonna make fun of it? If you're a big artist, that doesn't really affect you. But if you're a small artist, what's gonna happen? So that part is the one that I know that that's where things are going, but I don't know exactly how these things are going to fall into place at the end of the day. That's the part that I'm worried. And I think that affects the world in general, because again, I mean, I saw it first in Latin America because of the way we are, because as mentioned, culturally, we're listening to music all the time, Robin. And people love to cut corners, right? But now you're also seeing it in the Nordic countries, for example. So how are you going to tackle or accept or embrace or make fun of it? How is that going to work?
I think it'll play out like everything else. It'll take somebody major to finally get mad enough and be like, no. And then they'll kind of pave the way to how to battle that.
That's the thing. If you are a major, of course you can tackle that. But if you are not, you don't have the manpower to do it.
Yeah. Um, well, someone, maybe you, will have to create
Andale.
a system for indie artists, if and when that comes up.
See, because again, they're big indie artists. I'm not saying they're small,
Right.
but they just
It's
even them.
Yeah.
And see, look, the music, for example, that's the other part. Like, of course, we're talking global and everything always, no? But there's, people listened. I mean, if they listen more to music in their own language, so there are a lot of artists in that mid to high. What I like to say in Spanish, like they have careers that they live the music, they live from their music, right? And these countries, that's like the goal at the end of the day. I'm not talking about being famous around the globe. We're talking about living from your music and have a really good life. Like you make well, like you can buy a house to your parents if you want, but that doesn't mean you're global or famous. That's the type of artist that I'm talking about. They have millions and millions of streams, but they're not Taylor Swift, right?
Right.
So and sometimes again they don't work with a major. They're independent. So that's a whole situation.
Sorry. Someone else. It'll work itself out.
Yeah, and just to add a little bit more, you know what I would love to see? I would love to see other territories do what we do in Latam. The fact that we collaborated with other countries, but like all the time, like for us, it's like, but you know what it is? I mean, obviously it's because we have the same language and everything, but, I would love to see that in other territories as well, like more collaboration. I think that would be great.
I think that
For
would
sure.
be too. Yeah. Well, it sounds like you guys kind of have like unity in your music culture and everything. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm not sure unity is always so strong over here in the U.S. It could be better, but it is what it is.
It is what it
Yeah.
is.
So do you? Oh, so if people are interested in working with your company, how do they go about finding out that information, or is like a website and email?
Yes, we have it on our website, and it's like, you have to answer some simple questions, and then we receive that information, and we can, we'll get back to you in order to create an account, and you can start distributing with us as well. Yeah,
Okay.
but there's like different models, right? There's like the do-it-yourself model, but there's also the one obviously where we're trying to push, where we have a contract signed by both parties,
Hmm.
right? So that talks about a distribution license, of course.
Okay. And tell us the website.
Yeah, the website, perdón, interceptmusic.com.
Okay. Good. Um, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, I do. I think distribution right now is saturated. There are a lot of companies, right? And that's because there's a lot of music. Apparently, not apparently, but the Illuminate latest webinar mentioned that there's around 106,000 songs that have been released daily. So, and that number keeps increasing. It's not gonna go down, right? So we understand that the market can be saturated and everything, but what I've learned working here and from my previous experience is that it's at the end of the day, it's always a business of people, right?
Hmm.
So yes, as I mentioned to you, you can utilize AI. There's a lot of things that you can do as tools and everything, for the marketing and everything. But I do appreciate the fact that I'm in a company where my coworkers, right, they all have really strong backgrounds, like their expertise, or whether it's in the music genre or like in certain part of the industry, or even like customer success, right? Working People have worked previously with DSPs as well, so they understand the whole pitch system. So I think what I'm trying to say is, when you are a company that is growing, the most important part is to have a team of experts, right?
Right.
Because you're working on the foundation of your company,
Hmm.
and that's the way it should be, so you can give the best service. So at this point, I see that that's like our differentiator in Intercept. So yeah, so that's something that I want to put out there. I think it's important to understand that part, right?
Okay. Good. Well, thank you so much for this
You're more
interview.
than welcome. Thank you
Yeah,
for
this was.
having me.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. This was fun.
It was indeed.
Well, thank you. And everyone, as you know, this will be up on YouTube and Spotify within the next few days. And we will talk soon.
Of course, will
Thank
do.
you.
Thank you so much, Roy. Bye.
Bye bye.